So I got this book, and when I first grabbed it off the shelf, I kind of recognized the cover, but then it made sense after that because he's trying to follow up on. So this is a guy that wrote The Devil in the White City, which was a great book. It was like those 48 hours murder mysteries where they slowly build up to, and then he killed 20 people, but it was actually a better book than a 48 hours murder or Dateline or whatever it is that they do. I forget. I don't watch TV. And I gave this. So I read this book and I'm like, holy shit, this thing's crazy. And I gave it to my girlfriend at the time, and we were in New York. And I swear to God, she started reading this book like on subways. I was free. She had to actually work. Basically, I was just, yeah, I mean, I paid for stuff, but she was at a conference as I don't know why, some kind of English professor situation. And so I was free all day. But I gave her this book and she was reading it the entire time. And I was like, so you really like that? And she was obsessed with it. And that makes me understand later on when you understand like women love Dateline and 48 Hours and Snapped and other shows like that. They're like, I almost think they kind of are curious about how guys kill people or how women kill people. I don't know exactly. I thought it was a good book just because of the guy put together a whole house that was insane, like with like a door where you could throw a body out and it would end up in the basement kind of situation. So if you haven't read that book, uh, there should be a movie by now. I hope there must be a bunch of YouTube videos. Anyway, this is the same guy. Now I sound insane. I just knew that it was a good book. I gave it to my girlfriend, who is has a couple of master's degrees, and it's Eric Larson. But this one is In the Garden of Beasts: Love, Terror, and an American Family in Hitler's Berlin. Probably not gonna enjoy this as much as the last one, just because we all know. But I have, for some reason, a receipt. So we had Hudson News paid $19.70 for this thing. And they put the receipt here, so like maybe I should just start there. I only, I don't really buy books, but when I do, I think the last book I bought at a Hudson News, so that's an airport. I think it was, what was that one with George Clooney? Over the Air or Up in the Air. I actually read that I bought that and read that on a plane, so that was worth a good $12. I mean, 2 drinks for $12. They disappear in seconds. So I'm starting at chapter 26, Little Press Ball. Every November, the Foreign Press Association in Berlin threw a dinner and ball at the Hotel Adlon, a glamorous affair to which many of the city's most prominent officials, diplomats, and personalities were invited. The event was nicknamed Little Press Ball because it was smaller and far less constrained than the annual banquet hosted by Germany's domestic press, which had become stuffier than usual due to the fact the country's newspapers were by now almost wholly under the control of Joseph Goebbels and his Ministry of Public Enlightenment. Yeah. If you call something the Ministry of Public Enlightenment, I am not much of a going outside kind of guy. I think I might show up for that protest just because it's so Orwell 84 kind of. Yeah. For the foreign correspondents, the little press ball had immense practical value, wrote Sigrid Schultz. It is always easier to pump a man for a story after he and his wife, if he has one, have been your guests and danced at your ball than if you see him only in business hours. In 1933, the little press ball was held on the evening of Friday, November 24th, 6 days before the city's American population would celebrate Thanksgiving. This is in the middle of the book, so I don't even know how this led up to that. That almost sounds like it should be the start of the book. So already I'm thinking good book, and I haven't read this. Wow. So if this is a historical telling of what happened, this is just going to get worse and worse. I almost want to skip the end and where everything is horrible, but at least the bad guys lose. So he has filled this up with notes. I don't know if you can see this. This is page on page of notes. So I guess he has sub. And this is like. All right. So I trust this guy for telling the truth. I'm kind of curious about this one. Sources and acknowledgments. What I did not realize as I ventured into those dark days of Hitler's rule was how much the darkness would infiltrate my own soul. I generally pride myself on possessing a journalist's remove. The ability to mourn tragedy and at the same time appreciate its narrative power. But living in among Nazis day in, day out proved for me uniquely trying experience. For a time, I kept on my desk a copy of Ian Kershaw's Hitler, 1889 to 1936, Hubris, a work of grand scope that served as my field guide to the politics of the era. On the cover is a photograph of Hitler that became for me so repulsive. Apologies to Sir Ian, guy that wrote it, that I had to keep the book on my desk face down. As it were, for to start each day with a look at those hateful eyes and slack cheeks, that fragment of Brillo that passed for a mustache was far too dispiriting. So, writing this book disturbed this dude, and somehow he ended up with. So, this whole part, that's all notes and stuff after the afterword. So, I trust this guy. I'm going to read this book. I don't know. I've never gotten like there's a billion evil people in the world, and you could study them and think about them. I've never been like, oh, I can't look at them. I've never been to that point. So maybe he got way, way down and he was trying to pretend he was Hitler, and then he was kind of pretending that he had to hate himself to hate Hitler or something like that. I don't. This is. It's all history. It's like, dude, you could read about Pol Pot who did things that were worse than Hitler. I don't know if it's virtue. Nah, it's not. It's not virtue signaling. I think he got way too deep into it, and it started to actually haunt him, which is sad. But the guy just wrote a book about another guy killing women one after another personally. I'm kind of, I kind of want to talk to this dude. I know I never will. I don't even know if he does interviews. But there's no. So Hitler killed people from. I know I'm going to sound bad and get clipped or something. Nobody's going to see this. Never mind. Hitler killed people from thousands of miles away. He was basically like, yeah, kill him. The dude that this guy wrote his first book about personally invited these women into his house, killed them, had like a death room downstairs, threw them down I don't know. He had these things built between the rooms. I don't know which one I'm more disturbed about. Of course, a million people versus 70 people is different, but one is personal and the other one is. I don't know which one's worse. I don't even know if you can figure that out. Well, that was fun.